Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview Sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome, everyone, to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Joshua Johnston from Work with Hydra, where they help ambitious agencies scale revenue, acquire more clients, improve profitability, and a whole lot of other awesome things. Josh, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It's fun to be here. I've been looking forward to this one.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words. Let's go back in time just a little bit. How did you get started?
Yeah, so, got started in the agency space back in 2017. Had the opportunity to move from my hometown, move into Nashville, Tennessee, and start an agency from scratch. And my friend at the time that was running it is like, hey, I want you to move down and be my COO. And I was like, I don't even know what that stands for, but I'm in. Get me in there. And so, yeah, we started running this agency, doing social media content and running social media profiles. Eventually, that turned into more of the paid advertising side with Meta and Google ads. And then eventually we did, full scale content production. We had a 10,000 square foot studio, about a team of 35 at the time, and working with some of the biggest direct to consumer e-commerce brands in the space. And then after that, we ended up selling that agency back in 2020, just as the pandemic was kind of hitting its peak. And then that's when I started the consulting firm, essentially teaching people operational systems for their agency, whether that's lead gen, sales, fulfillment, HR, finance, taking the principles that we use to build, grow, and sell our agency and apply them to other people's agencies.
Well, that is awesome and an incredible. I'm sure the longer version of that story could probably be in a book somewhere if it isn't already. Sure. All right, so let's dive into what the business looks like now. Who's an ideal client for Hydra now? Let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, we work with 7- and 8-figure digital agencies. So the type of digital agency can be pretty broad. We work with people in the local lead gen space, e-commerce, website design, development, creative. So it's pretty wide as far as like the agency space goes, but primarily ideal client profile is 7- to 8-figure agencies.
Awesome. And then what are some of the biggest problems you're helping them solve?
Yeah, I would say about 80% of people come to us for like lead generation. So their ability to find and acquire new clients. Is what I would say is like the primary thing that we come in and help fix. Outside of that, a lot of it falls back on like more the operations of the business. So anything from fulfillment structures. So building a more robust project management platform for the team as they continue to scale, helping them with their HR bottlenecks with like finding the right talent, making sure they have the best talent to replace themselves. And then also financial structuring. So, for us, like we want to make sure that we have very financially viable businesses, profitable businesses. One, save you a lot of stress and headache, but also they sell for more. So for us, like we want to make sure that we build the most profitable agencies possible. And to do that, we need to be able to understand where our costs are coming from and how to mitigate some of those costs when necessary. So we help with some financial modeling with our agencies as well. So
how many agencies have you worked with in this kind of way?
Oh, goodness. At this point, it's probably been north of 200, 220, somewhere in that range. Active on our roster, we have about 45 agencies that we work with. So yeah, quite a few. We've seen the inside of a lot of big agencies, a lot of small agencies, ones that are extremely profitable, and then ones that are a little bit less profitable. So it's definitely been a wide scope of agencies we've worked with.
What are some of the biggest mistakes you see them making that you're helping them fix?
Yeah, I mean, for people that are struggling with more the lead generation side, I think it's having like a unique selling proposition and having the right positioning for the agency. Most people sell just too broadly. It's funny because a lot of these agencies, they market for other people and they're really good at it, but they suck at marketing for themselves. So I would say, learn how to market for yourself. You learn how to do that. You can't really have a bad month, So, but a lot of that is like positioning, sales strategy, how they're actually getting those leads in, and being unique and differentiated from, the agency space is ever growing. There's a lot of new agencies getting their start. So if you're a commodity agency, it's hard to win deals. So that's probably primarily what we work on the most, though.
And then is there you mentioned a lot of different things you're helping agencies with, and you mentioned the revenue range. Is there an industry that you want them to be serving that, you've gotten better results in for some reason?
Yeah, I mean, our background is in e-commerce. So it's like my agency was a D2C e-commerce agency. My business partner worked a lot in D2C, also more like enterprise level clients. So those are the types of people that we get, I would say, the best results for. But I mean, we've really knocked it out of the park for like some local lead gen agencies as well that work with like painting contractors, as an example. And like those guys, it's a very simple business model, which is nice because e-commerce is a little bit more complicated as far as like advertising goes. But for us, like the best ones that we get the best results for definitely going to be probably direct consumer e-commerce, as well as probably like local lead generation.
That makes a lot of sense. Can you talk about an agency that you've been working with, and if their name needs to be confidential, just ABC Incorporated,
Sure.
but kind of what their issue was, what you're helping them with, and that magical transformation you've been been able to pull off?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one that comes top of mind for me is one of our agency partners, 0 to 1. They're a TikTok influencer and affiliate agency. These guys just got voted top TikTok shop agency for 2024, and are really making some waves in the TikTok industry. And for me, like, their biggest issue was that they were kind of like jack of all trades, and now they're specifically known for something, right? And I think a lot of times when people start their agencies or like continue to grow, it's like, cool, what other thing can I add on? What other thing can I add on as a service? And for us, like we have this quote internally, we call it simplicity and rhythm, where it's like we build our businesses with extreme simplicity and extreme rhythm. So there's not a bunch of complication and confusion on things like the delivery process. So it was kind of picking and pulling the things that they were really good at, putting the focus on those things, and then eliminating kind of like all of the things that weren't moving the needle for that business. But yeah, I mean, when they started with us, they were doing about 65, 70K every month. And now they're doing over $340,000 a month. And that was in a course of about 2 years, we were able to make that transition. But I mean, hats off to those guys. They're scrappy. They're doing it all. We just give them a little guidance.
Well, that almost 4 to 5x is a heck of an ROI. Who's not a good fit? Who won't this work for?
That's a good question. People that are lazy. I would say like that's the biggest one. Like these are traditional principles. What we teach is not some crazy new tactic or crazy principle. Like these are the business basics. And I think the thing that gets in most people's way is that they make their business too complicated. And when it's complicated, it's hard to scale. So for us, like we boil things down to the most simplistic offerings possible, the most simplistic deliveries possible, so our agencies can actually have an effective scaling model. So it's like it works for everybody. It would work with businesses that aren't in the agency space as well. But for us, it's like that's it's us drinking our own Kool-Aid there. We got to be able to have our ideal client profile that we go after as well. But these principles are tried and true. They work for really any business.
And then how are you working with folks? Is this consulting? Is this a coaching program? Is this a course? Are you buying parts of the agency? How does all that work?
Yeah, good question. So we have partnership levels that vary. So I would say like our smallest programs are more coaching consulting offers. And then we have ones that are a little bit more intimate, where it's a little bit more fractional on that side, where it's like our team is actually running as an extension of the other team. We'll do done for you build outs and be more of like a fractional piece of the agency that's a little bit more catch-all. So it's a combination of both. Most people start with us in some sort of coaching consulting capacity. And then if we feel like they're good for, like our next level or our ascension, if you will, then we move them into like more of like a fractional role within their business.
Awesome. You've worked with so many agencies and helped them achieve results along with you achieving results. What's your biggest challenge now?
Yeah, biggest challenge for us is, we help with a lot of different things. And so we've had a hard time of like, being able to actually like get our offer across. And like for the first time, we're actually segmenting our offers. So like we have one that's more specified for lead gen sales, which is a majority of like what people come to us for. But then we have the back half, right? Which is like what I consider like the balance of the business, which is more the operational side, the systems, the things that actually make the team successful. That's more of like the back half of what we do. So we're starting to segment a little bit more of like how we deliver our services and our products. And I think that's going to help us tremendously, but it's a challenge that we're working through right now because we used to just do it all. Where it's like, hey, like, you work with us, you get everything, which makes as we continue to grow as a business, like we have great referrals and great affiliates that bring us a ton of work. But, for us, like, we're trying to expand outside of just that. So we've had to kind of change the offering for more of a colder audience. And I think that's going to be effective, but we're still testing it and we're still rolling it out. So we'll see. That's our challenge currently. But I think we have a good fix for it.
With all the different agencies you're working with and, the world of social media and marketing changing minute by minute almost, how do you stay on top of it all?
Yeah, you just got to pay attention. It's like a lot of reading, a lot of observation. I recommend people, it's like, hey, if you're going to scroll on TikTok or Instagram or something, like do it with intentionality. Very rarely am I just like scrolling to be entertained by things. I'm breaking down, hey, like why did this organic piece of content have, 3 million views on it, 10 million views? Why did this ad pull me in? What ads are other people running? Like I always tell people, if you're skipping your ads, if you're in business, like you're a business owner and you're skipping the ads in your feed, you're missing out. Because there's really cool things that you can see that other people are doing that are working well that can easily translate to your specific business. So if you're skipping through the ads on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, don't skip through them. Look at them, do a little funnel hacking, click on the links, see what they're doing. It could be very applicable for your business and can give you some really good insights on what's working right now. Because chances are, if people are spending money behind it, it's probably working okay.
Amen to that. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
Yes, we get to do a lot, man. It's like working with, ambitious entrepreneurs, being able to travel quite a bit as well. We're hosting our first international event. We host events with our business, and we're doing one in London at the end of this month, which is really exciting. So, a business like this, it just allows you to have a ton of opportunity outside of just, the 9-to-5 type schedule, like sitting behind the desk. That's what I'm most excited about. It's like creating impact for our community, but also being able to travel a little bit and get outside of just the US borders.
That is awesome. We know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. For our folks who are watching and listening and want to learn more, might be the right agency for Hydra, where is the best place for us to send them?
Yeah, we have two sides of our business. One is the consulting side, that's workwithhydra.com. And then we also have a bookkeeping business for specifically agencies called workwithcleanbooks.com. So like those are our two businesses that we're actively running. So if you're looking for consulting or more like financial side of the business, you can find us there. And then you can find me on socials at Joshi Kobayashi on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of those places. So.
Awesome. Well, this is Seth Greene here with Joshua Johnston. Josh, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, Seth. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.